Back in the day, in a small town of Scarborough, on the eastern part of the city of Toronto, Canada, there lived an elderly woman called Emma. She lived with her son, Alan, his wife, Rose, and grandkids, David and Stella. In 2020, a deadly virus started to spread fast. It mainly attacked seniors. Rose, Emma's in-law, often got angry at her husband, Alan, pushing him to kick Emma out of the house, citing that Emma could be a carrier. One evening, as Alan returned home from work, he found Rose yelling and scolding Emma for merely not closing the washroom door. Alan was dismayed, as this is not the kind of behavior or treatment he wanted his mother to endure. He further got to learn from the kids, David and Stella, that their mother often locked Grandma in her bedroom and did not feed her for the whole day whenever their dad was on business trips. When Alan tried to speak with Rose about this, she threatened to leave and take the children with her. She further demanded that Emma be thrown out of the house. However, Alan refused to adhere to her threats, and Emma stayed. The situation worsened. Rose constantly picked on Emma, called her names. "You are good for nothing. You are useless and a burden to my family." One afternoon, Emma needed assistance to get off the floor. Rose pretended to give her a hand, but held her so tight that she left a bruise on Emma's hand. Emma did not tell anyone or show anyone the bruise on her hand. She was frightened, nervous, scared, because she had nowhere to go, even if she wanted to leave. Luckily for Emma, there was a door-to-door sensitization campaign about the prevention of elder abuse and violence against women in COVID-19, organized by the Red Cross Society Canada within the area. A young lady knocked on the door. Emma opened, and like the expert that she is, she was able to notice the scars and marks on Emma's wrists, face, and arms. She insisted that Emma tells her what has been going on in her life. This young lady shared a story about her own domestic violence experience at the hands of her husband. It is then that Emma felt comfortable enough to open up to her about the violence she was suffering in her son's home at the hand of her in-law. She comforted Emma and encouraged her to speak up and seek help. The social worker also requested to speak with Emma's family. Rose admitted her mistake and begged Emma and the whole family for forgiveness. She promised to give Emma the respect she deserves. Today, Emma is happy, and she wants every senior to know their rights. She is glad she was finally able to break her silence. Break the silence in COVID-19. Join us on a journey of series of 10 workshops live on Facebook and YouTube during October and November 2020. Organized by Artists and Artisans Development and Network. Funded by Canadian Red Cross. For more information, artistandartisans.org/events. info@artistandartisans.ca.
Hi, my name is Rachel Cruz, and I'll be your MC for today. I just want to welcome you guys for joining us on this lovely Saturday afternoon. And, we are officially kicking off the first out of the 10 workshops of the Artists and Artisans Development and Network series. It's called Break the Silence in COVID-19 series. These workshops, guys, is happening every weekend from October to November of this year. And we'll be talking about the prevention of elderly abuse and domestic violence against women. So the series of workshops, again, is presented to you by Artists and Artisans Development and Network. Plus, it is funded by Red Cross Canada with the support of Geisha Productions. So guys, if you guys are wondering, well, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And why is this so important? All of these issues that was raised that you probably saw in the video earlier, those issues already existed pre-COVID, right? But it's even actually intensified during the pandemic. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 24 suffer abuse, of elderly abuse, but only 1 in 24 actually get reported. And another thing, in the last 12 months, 243 million women experienced domestic violence. Let me repeat that. That's 243 million women. That's a 25% increase. So guys, we're using this, thank God for technology, because we're using this platform to reach out to people who may need to hear this so that they can be connected to the right resources. One of the things that I really want to share with you guys is in the next hour, you're going to be hearing from experts in the field and some performances to talk about prevention strategies. There's going to be an amazing Q&A section. So I really encourage you to drop your comments below. It's live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Drop your comments so we can actually engage and address those concerns that you might have. Okay, and as an extra incentive, I will be giving out a $50 Arbonne gift from me because I'm an Arbonne Executive Area Manager. If you like, comment, and repost this live stream happening right now. So guys, before I actually introduce our performer, she's quite talented and amazing. I do want to talk a little bit about who is the organization behind this workshop, right? As I've said earlier, it's actually Artists and Artisans Development and Network, so AADN. They actually were founded in 2014, and their mission is to bring together and cobble a bunch of artists and artisans of all different artistic practices and connect them to cultural functions, exchanges, and festivals so that they can showcase their work. That's how it started in 2014. But now there's more than 500 artists in more than 112 languages. And this is amazing because especially if you're a newcomer to Canada, you're an immigrant to Canada, you want to be able to be connected to these exchanges because it provides a platform for socio-economic opportunities. So having said that, guys, AADN, they're really the spirit and the community behind all these workshops that you'll be seeing in the next few weekends because this is our first one, okay? So without further ado, now let me take a moment and introduce our amazing performer. Okay, so her name is Rachel Stryker. She is only 12 years old. She's a singer and songwriter. She writes her own songs, guys. So back in 2017, she was crowned champion at the International Music Awards Little Golden Bell across Canada. And at the age of 11, she won the championship of Sing for the Heart competition from the Heart and Stroke Foundation. She was invited to perform at the Roy Thompson Hall that same year. And she's also featured in Gloria Gibbs' Nankunda album release lineup at the Center for Social Innovation just this past February 2020. And recently, guys, she won gold at the World Championships of Performing Arts in LA. So let's give a virtual applause for Rachel Stryker.
Hi, I'm Rachel Stryker. I'm 12 years old, and today we're going to be breaking the silence on COVID-19. COVID-19 has affected us all as a society, but some people are taking out their frustration on others, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, because it's not right. People should be standing up for themselves and doing what's right. Today I'm going to be singing you some songs to cheer everyone up in these hard times and frustrating times. I'm going to be singing some songs, so just sit back, relax, and just chill. The first song I'll be singing is an original song called Belong. I did write it during COVID-19. I think it's very meaningful to what's happening right now. Hope you enjoy.
Staring out the window, watching the sunrise, knowing that you'll always be there for me. I think about these days where tomorrow lies, and I realize things are always what they seem. For every storm, for every sunset, for every day and every night. It's a sign from the world that we belong. For each miracle we witness, in every beautiful sign, it's a sign you and I should get along. I know that today is not the same as yesterday, and I know that life is like a stream. This world is hazy, but we stand where the sun lies. We stay strong and we live for our dreams. For every storm, for every sunset, for every day and every night, it's a sign from the world that we belong. For each miracle we witness, in every beautiful sign, it's a sign you and I should get along. Rain comes and rain will go, sunsets and shadows make way for tomorrow. After pouring there's a rainbow. Every miracle we see will bring us home. For every storm in every sky, for each miracle we witness, in every beautiful sign, it's a sign from the world that we belong. It's a sign from the world that we belong.
Thank you for that. And that is Rachel Stryker. She's this young and talented performer. As you've seen, you can catch her a little bit more later. And so if you love that, drop your comment below, give her a heart, and a virtual applause. Thanks, Rachel Stryker, for joining us and for being part of this important workshop and important cause. If you're just hopping on right now, I want to introduce myself again. I'm Rachel Cruz. I'll be your MC in the next hour or so. And this is part of the Break the Silence in COVID-19 series. And we're really just going to be talking about, you're going to be hearing, discussing from experts and counselors in the field about prevention of elderly abuse and domestic violence against women. So guys, if you're seeing this right now, I encourage you to please like, comment, and share this live stream, because you just never know who needs to hear from you guys from this. And they might have questions, and it may not be affecting you personally, but sometimes people just really do suffer in silence, right? So I really encourage you to do that, because if they see this and they're connected to the right resources, then we're able to help them. So let's help with the outreach. And again, thanks to Rachel Stryker. She'll be back on in a few minutes. I do want to actually, I want to talk a little bit more about the organization who's put this together. I did mention earlier that they're called Artists and Artisans Development and Network, and their mission is to provide support and opportunities for its economic and social development for artists and artisans of all artistic practices who are newcomers to Canada. And they pretty much represent a lot of the visible minority groups. It's really important, guys. They are the spirit and the community behind this series. And of course, this series would not happen without the without the help. So we gotta thank special thanks to a couple of organizations too, and partners. So number one, let's thank Canadian Red Cross for the funding, the Government of Canada, our Member of Parliament, Salma Zahid, and our Member of Provincial Parliament, Christina Mitas. Now, guys, I'm about to introduce our keynote speaker, and her name is Dr. Rasha Waheed. She'll be spending the next 15 to 20 minutes about prevention strategies of elderly abuse and domestic violence against women. I encourage you guys to listen in and drop your comments, send your questions if you have any questions, so that we'll be able to address it, because we do have a Q&A section happening later on, okay? So a little bit about our keynote speaker. So Dr. Rasha Waheed, she's a professor at Cambrian College and College Boreal, mental health nurse, a professional life coach, and a registered psychotherapist at the Family Services of Peel in Mississauga. So if you're wondering what is her focus area of therapy, she deals with narcissistic abuse, domestic violence, anxiety and depression, and codependency, therapeutic modalities, which include cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, maybe you've heard of this, dialectical behavior therapy, solution-focused therapy, and acceptance and commitment therapy. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Dr. Rasha Waheed. Hi, thank you, and welcome for joining us in our series today, Doctor. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me. It's always nice to connect with you.
So, we can't wait to hear about what you'll be speaking to, and I'll let you go ahead.
Thank you. So, as Richard just mentioned, it's my profession is a mental health nurse and also qualifying psychotherapy. I have a strong passion to mental health, and I want to share with you some knowledge about mental health today. And today we break the silence in COVID-19. Let's first acknowledge that pandemics can be very stressful. And it's not only because of the fear and anxiety of the new disease, it's actually the measures that needed to help us stay safe, like social distancing, is what's causing as well some kind of isolation. It's causing a lot of stress. And what Canadians reported about their mental health during the pandemic, and this is according to the national survey published on CAMH website, people reported a lot of anxiety. There is increase in depression. There is increase also in binge drinking, and increase in feeling of fear and anxiety, anger, sadness. There is also other studies that reported increase in domestic violence and substance use. So because COVID-19 is started to be part of our reality, we need to start knowing how to cope with it, how to deal with these unresolved emotions, and also reducing our stress level. And when I say stress level, to be honest, it's particularly important to know that stress is a major factor during the infectious disease outbreak that can affect your immune system. It leaves us at a high risk also of other illnesses and infections. So today I want to share with you some knowledge about how do you know that you're under distress? What are the common signs and symptoms? And what are the tips and strategies in order to keep and maintain mental health and mental well-being? I want to start with saying that mental health is a big part of your physical and well-being. Mental health is how we think, our thoughts. It also includes how we feel and how we act accordingly. So maintaining mental health and mental well-being is a big part now that can help you during this difficult time. So what are some of the common symptoms that we can face? And some people would not know that this is affecting their mental health. One of them is you would notice lack of sleep or disturbance in your sleeping pattern. You can also see some changes in your appetite. You can feel fear, worries, sadness, anger. You can also face some difficulties in concentration or some difficulties in making decisions, in focusing on your work or studies. You can also see some physical symptoms, which can be headaches, body pains, and any worsening in if you have any chronic condition. And let's not forget people also who are having pre-existing mental health issues like depression and anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia. They are very vulnerable at that time as well. And during this difficult time, what we are going to share with each other now is what can help me during that time, especially for people with domestic violence. And as Rachel mentioned, this is my specialty. I deal with a lot of clients with domestic violence, narcissistic abuse, codependency, childhood trauma. And the tips and strategies I'm sharing today, it's kind of general strategies that can help you during that time. And if you needed extra help, you have to go for counseling and seek some professional help with the traumas and your experience as well. So let's start with some strategies that we can use in order to help us to maintain our mental well-being during this difficult time. I always start with saying to my clients, please understand and acknowledge that having some feeling of anxiety, worries, difficulty concentration, feeling of isolation and loneliness is very normal during this time. You're not alone in this. All what you need to know is acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you're feeling these emotions, monitor them, write them down. There's something called journaling, and journaling helps a lot of people, and we use it a lot with depression and anxiety. So acknowledge that you're not alone in this. Acknowledge your emotions. Have them written down. The second thing that you can do is you start looking and monitoring these thoughts. Are they negative thoughts? Which is what we use cognitive behavioral for, and anxiety and depression. If your thoughts are negative, it means that these are the thoughts that are causing you to feel the anxiety and depression. Reconstructing the thoughts will help you a lot. And if you ask me, how would I do this? I will tell you, there's a lot of positive affirmations, tons of them on YouTube and on the internet. Say the affirmations. And when you keep repeating the affirmations, it's basically you are trying to reconstruct the thoughts that you have in your subconscious mind. That's how we manipulate the subconscious mind. Reconstruct the thoughts, because your thoughts affect how you feel. And how you feel usually also affects how you act. So start with your thoughts. There's something else I want to share with you. And this is the self-compassion. This difficult time, most of us are staying alone. We started to be alone with ourselves. Previously, during the normal times, we were very distracted with a very busy life, work, relationships. Now we're just left alone, or some of us. And basically, most of us, we haven't learned self-love and self-care, self-compassion. Staying with ourselves alone can cause a lot of anxiety because we're not used to it. Now it's time to pause and think about things that you can do to make yourself happy, to put yourself as a priority. With the busy life, sometimes we put people before us, work, tasks that needs to be finished or completed. Now it's time for you to start thinking about what's your likes, dislikes, what do you prefer, what do you love to do, how to make yourself at peace when you're staying alone. So self-compassion is very important. And this is the time to start practicing self-care and self-love. Another thing is taking care of your body. And this is also a practice of self-love. take care of what are you eating. Are you eating well-balanced, nutritious food, or just processed food? Or not preparing regular nutritious meat? It's very important to monitor how food as well makes you feel, because food affects our mood. So be mindful about the food that you're eating, and stay active during the day. When you stay active, it will improve your sleeping pattern. It will improve your mood as well. And it's also kind of practice to self-love. Some practice, like yoga, meditation, it helps us with reconstructing our thoughts. Reconstructing our thoughts, as I mentioned, through cognitive behavioral therapy is very important. Sometimes meditation helps us to control these thoughts. You can just simply delete the thought that you think it's very stressful for you, or it's causing you to feel anxiety or depression. Other thing that we can do is reach out to people. Reach out for help, because you're not alone in this. Many people are just feeling the same. But when we think about it, we always think that we're the only one who's feeling anxiety and fears. But actually, no. Helping someone else can make you feel good. Reaching out for people, connecting with them. Connection is very important. And this is the time that we need to connect with each other. And even though it's very difficult to connect when we're all behind the screen, that's the new life, right? We need just to cope with it. We need to learn how to connect through different platforms. Maybe just learning new technology in order to reach out for people, to make them feel supported. So stay connected. Other thing that we can do is, and I always say, we have tons of online resources. As I just mentioned, positive affirmations are there. Meditation and yoga. Practice exercises online with other people. Stay active with them. Connect with them. When we think about the people with pre-existing mental health conditions, and I mentioned at the beginning, it might be very stressful for them, they need our support. We need to make them continue with their plan of treatment. We need to support them. We need to ask them to reach out to their healthcare provider if needed. So staying connected, taking care of ourselves, practicing self-compassion, self-love is very important at that time. Monitoring your thoughts, trying to get good sleep, and eating well-balanced food is very important. Actually, mental health is a very integral part of your own well-being, physical health, right? But unfortunately, people do care about the physical health more than the mental health. And that's according to my experience, 17 years now with mental health. I would see people would come because only they've been referred, but they didn't realize that there's something that's happening. Your body sometimes when there is pain is calling for help because your mind needs peace. And staying in peace with your mind is controlling your thoughts, is practicing self-affirmation, positive affirmations. And I usually tell my clients, practice positive affirmations before you go to sleep and the moment you woke up. And that's the time we can manipulate our subconscious mind. It's just like giving our subconscious mind new knowledge, reconstructing the thoughts that we had about ourselves. With domestic violence, learn what healthy relationships look like. Set healthy boundaries. Understand that you deserve a better life. You deserve to be happy. That's come with self-love. That's come when we practice self-compassion. We understand how to love ourselves in order to give love. Stay focused and stay healthy and stay in peace. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dr. Rasha Waheed. We said a lot of things that are so important and significant right now. And I have a lot of burning questions. But I think, one of the main things, my key takeaway is really just part of it is acceptance, right? Acceptance that we are in this new norm. And so what you have just presented to our viewers today is coping strategies, various coping strategies that are quite holistic. You're talking about mind, body, getting enough sleep, connecting with the right people. And what really struck me was when you said, when you help others, when you help someone else, you actually are in a way helping yourself. So you know what? We have a Q&A session, guys, and I really encourage you guys to comment, drop your comments, ask your questions, because after a performance, we're gonna get back to the Q&A. I'm sure that Dr. Waheed will be able to address them. And but before that, I do want to read. We have some comments so far, though. Okay, let me hear this. Okay. So Ramesh Chota had said, thank you, AADN, for organizing this informative event. Dr. Rasha Waheed so lucidly outlined mental health issues prevalent in the community. So thank you, Ramesh, for that comment. We also have Ella K. She had mentioned it's a very vital part of our lives. We have a comment from Emily Hope. Emily Hope Muanguzi. She said, I used to starve myself naturally because I just felt too busy to eat. Well, I paid and are still paying for the price. So it's great that you mentioned the importance of food, good food. And guys, it's time to eat. And I think what doctor said is like eating right and eating well. We also have a comment from Ashvin Amin. He's saying, very good session. And self-love is the key. That's from Brayo Music. Okay, so thanks guys for your comments. If you have any more, stay tuned, save them, ask your questions. But for now, I'm going to introduce again our earlier performer. Her name is Rachel Stryker. She is only 12 years old. She's a singer and songwriter, and she'll be serenading us in our Break the Silence in COVID-19 series. Let's give it up for Rachel.
The next song I'll be singing is Someone Like You. We can all relate to this song in different ways. I hope you enjoy, sit back and relax, and just listen.
I heard that you've settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true, but she gave you things I didn't give to you. Old friend, why you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back or hide from the light. I'd hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I'd hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, sometimes it hurts instead. You know how the time flies. Only yesterday was the time of our lives. We were born and raised in a summer haze, bound by the surprise of our glory days. I'd hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, sometimes it hurts instead. Yeah.
And that's Rachel Stryker, guys. She's only 12 and she has an amazing voice. Let's give it up. Virtual applause. If you love that, just drop your heart comments in the comments below. I'm seeing a lot of comments popping in, and we're hearing that she's an amazing voice. Brian Music said Rachel Stryker has an amazing voice for a 12-year-old. Yeah, she's simply amazing, and we're really grateful that you're part of this important workshop and you've joined the class. So again, Rachel Stryker, you will hear from her again one more time before we wrap up. But for now, we're gonna head into our Q&A session. Earlier, if you're just hopping on around earlier, Dr. Rasha Waheed was talking about prevention strategies for elderly abuse and domestic violence against women. As you guys might have noticed or know now, that really the instances of domestic violence against women and elderly abuse skyrocketed, intensified during the pandemic. So if you have questions, guys, about it, please drop your comments below. And I really, really encourage you to please share this live stream, because you just never know. We have a Facebook live stream as well as YouTube. If you just follow and like Artists and Artisans Development and Network, just search them up, share it, because you never know who it can reach out to, so that we can connect them to the right resources and get them the help they need. So before we get into actually our Q&A session, I do want to take the time to acknowledge our supporting teams, okay? So we have a board of directors from Artists and Artisans Development and Network. We also have Geisha Productions Incorporated. So bravo, thanks guys for supporting this important workshop. And we also have our partner agencies. We have the Positive Community Development, Creative Joyce, Chocolate Films, IDRF, Ryerson University, Trios College, University of Toronto, Diversity of Cultural Association, Swar Gunjan of the Music Academy, and many, many others. Okay, so thank you for partnering with us. Again, you're watching the first out of the 10 workshops in Break the Silence in COVID-19 series. And we just heard from our keynote speaker, Dr. Rasha Waheed. Now she's gonna come back on board for our QA session. So let's welcome her back. I'm gonna look at it. Hello.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing a lot of your expertise regarding this important topic. And as people probably have questions, but I think for me, the first thing that that maybe people want to hear about is, can you provide some context as to why it has intensified? Why elderly abuse and domestic violence against women during this time, especially, just a brief context of why it has rocketed during this time.
Yeah. Well, actually, Rachel, what's happening is everyone's stressed. Everyone is facing a lot of anxiety, fears, uncertainty. So it's my understanding also to what's happening according to the clients that we're having in the referral is many people are staying at home. Many people are having some difficult time facing or dealing with their own unresolved emotions. So if I'm unable to deal with my stress and deal with my unresolved emotions, it will definitely affect my relationships. It will definitely affect my behavior towards people around me. And that's why we are seeing a lot of projection. So the unresolved emotions have been projected on others. Okay. And that's why you see a lot of anger, a lot of conflicts, and definitely would lead to abuse at the end. So that's why we were talking about mental health. That's why we were just saying it's very important to understand your own emotions. It's very important to process your unresolved emotions as well. And for people who are able to do that, I mean, like many people are using self-help books. They are able to identify their own emotions and deal with it. However, others are not aware because they've never been in that position before. They never dealt with self-awareness. And that's what we say, like, if you are in doubt, seek help. Seek counseling services. Talk to someone who's professional. Go and seek help also. You can just sometimes to deal with your anxiety. Definitely it depends on the intensity of the anxiety, but you can deal with your anxiety through your family doctor. So yeah, that's how it's affecting everyone.
One of the things, someone just asked the same thing. One of the things too, though, is that personally for me, like, what do I do to, keep myself healthy? Like, I work out, I eat well, I read personal development books, I do journaling, which what you mentioned earlier, which is so helpful. But, what if the person dealing with this feels stuck? Like, they don't even know where to begin, right? Like, that's sort of the things that was like going through my head. Like, what if they didn't have that discipline in the beginning? So to have to overcome all these obstacles, like, what would you recommend? Because I find a lot of people get stuck in this vicious cycle, and they don't know how to reset or to kind of reset their mind, renew their mind, change their habits. What would you say?
Yeah, that's very true, Rachel. And I want to tell you something. You just said it. We need to start maybe at the beginning with looking at our body, listening to what we are feeling, and starting to exercise, starting with maybe good start is starting with a well-balanced food, well-balanced activity. And I know a lot of clients would say, like, when we feel like we are on the right track, it takes us from one step into another. So the first step would be, yes, taking care of your body, taking care of the external health. And that will lead you to start thinking about different ways and strategies to deal with your thoughts. Actually, mental health is about dealing with the negative thoughts that you have, dealing with the unresolved emotions. So when I start first with my actual body and listening to my gut, we say, getting the balanced food, staying active, listening to my emotions, then this is a kind of the motivation that we sometimes need, and the will is coming from, okay, I'm motivated, I'm on the right track, then okay, let me just start monitoring my thoughts, monitoring my emotions, deal with them. And if it's something that I can deal with, that definitely not including childhood trauma or existing trauma, and I can deal with it with myself, that's okay. There's a lot of self-help books, as I just mentioned, out there, or like motivational videos. There's so many things on the internet. However, when there's something that I can't deal with, I would recommend that we start with counseling. We start with a professional who can just put us on the right track, and maybe after that we can just manage our own emotions or our own thoughts alone.
Yeah, one of the things I think, one of the things that so far what we're talking about is, how this pandemic has impacted everybody. Everybody's impacted physically, mentally, and such, and what they can do. But moving on towards people who are, say, experiencing domestic abuse or elderly abuse, one of the things I feel is that there's a fear of speaking out. I mean, I myself, I have to admit, I'm a victim of sexual assault. And it took a while for me to come out with that, which then initiated a whole new campaign for speaking out. So like in this scenario, right, one of the things I read too is that because there's the capacity for women's shelter in the city, for example, in Toronto, is on cap because there's physical distancing measures, right? So where would they go? Like, to have, like, how can they overcome that fear of speaking out in the first place and connecting to the right people so that they can get the help they need?
Yeah. So you said it, Rachel, we need the knowledge. We need to seek out help from people. We know that there's a lot of resources out there. But before doing this, it's first understanding. When I just mentioned self-love and self-care, believe me, many people, when you ask them, what do you want in life? How did you get into this? Or how do you want to get out of an abusive relationship, for example? Sometimes it's difficult for them to know what they want. And actually, because many of us, and I'm saying many of us, never learned about self-love and self-care. When we know about self-love and self-care, we start to build or have our own standards that we think we deserve and we believe that we deserve. It comes first from us, from inside. Then seeking help or giving yourself a chance to voice out what's going on, it's kind of, that's the push. That's the push that you're getting. When you get self-love and you practice it, then you start understanding that that's the point I need to set healthy limits and start seeking help outside.
I think part of I think the challenge is the difficulty of, understanding. Yes, you're right. The self-awareness. People have to be self-aware. Like, this is happening. I need to work on this. But the other side to the story is that there is challenges in, like, what if they feel repercussions? Like, say they're in a home setting and they feel like if I tell someone about this, that's why a lot of people suffer in silence, because they're scared that they will get more abuse if they told on them or something like that. So what can you say about that?
I would say there is a lot of support out there for people who can just confidentially talk about what they are suffering from, and especially abuse, and especially elderly abuse, because every health professional now, as I told you later, I work as a mental health nurse, I work as a qualifying psychotherapist. Every profession, if you are seeking out any kind of help, and I'm sure that at one point you would have the connection with a family doctor or with a nurse, or just feel the trust that it's okay to voice it out for someone that they will keep it confidential but will be able to help you. Because if I stayed stuck and I'm fearing that I will have the abuse more and more, actually I'm trapping myself into this. But just getting the courage of being, okay, I have to talk about it in a very confidential way with someone that I trust, believe me, you will get the help. Just believe in yourself, believe in your ability to get out of this is by seeking help.
And I think one of the things too that you pointed out earlier, that you're not alone, right? You're not alone in this journey. And I think what I was thinking about is, what about access? You talked about there are strategies, prevention strategies to get yourself started. But what about access in terms of, access to these resources, access to getting a counselor, access to getting a therapist? Like, what would you say about that?
Well, there is many services out there that people are not aware of. Like where I work at the Family Service of Peer, and there's so many agencies as well. They're helping a lot of people. There's a lot of live webinars, and there's a lot of health teaching and psychoeducation out there. There's a lot of group therapy. I run 2 of the group therapies for domestic violence. People are not aware that this is happening in the community. Well, actually it is. It's the lack of knowledge. We need just to be aware that there's a lot of resources out there. It's all on Google. If you just Google it somewhere near me, like a kind of support group therapy, some agencies for counseling or psychotherapy, we will find them. But it's sometimes the fear to take the first step. And that's why I'm encouraging everyone, just step up, take the first stage, the first step of having your voice out. And you will find a lot of support out there, a lot of support.
Thank you for that, Dr. Rasha Waheed. We appreciate your time and for answering our questions. I guess, do you have any other words you want to impart before we close out the Q&A session? Someone did ask earlier again, why did it go up? Why is it worse this time? Do you want to reiterate that and maybe add something else you want to share with us?
I think it's the same as I just said. We all are facing a lot of stress. And stress is affecting how we are behaving and how we are perceiving situations as well. My advice is, when you feel that there's something changing in the way you're thinking, your thoughts, your feelings, and you're not able to deal with it alone, just try to seek help. See if it works for you. Try to seek counseling and psychotherapy as well. And I am sure that this will help you, especially because it takes you back sometimes to some unresolved emotion and childhood trauma that you're not aware of. And you can process it alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you again, Dr. Rasha Waheed. We appreciate your time. We've learned so much from you, and just the fact that you're able to reinforce that there is help out there, that you're not alone in dealing with this. Whether you're just watching this live or a replay, guys, I really encourage you to reshare, repost our Facebook and YouTube live streaming right now, because there are people out there who might need to be hearing this, and maybe there's a way for us to connect them to the right resources. So thank you again, Dr. Waheed, for your time.
And thanks for having me. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so you've heard from our expert. This is our first workshop out of the 10. There's going to be more. You're going to be hearing more from our experts and counselors in the field. And, it's going to be helpful, especially during this time, because everyone is dealing with the pandemic in their own way. We have our own coping mechanisms, and there is help out there. So I want to, again, thank you to Dr. Waheed. And there's going to be more participants coming up. So I want to acknowledge our team who put this together, guys. We have Shirin Mandini, Gloria Gift Nankunda, Manal Hussein, Brian Coyoyo, Blessy Regulas, and Mary Carmen Tay Lee. Once again, I want to acknowledge acknowledge Red Cross Canada for the funding, and Artists and Artisans Network and Development for shedding a light on this important topic about elderly abuse and prevention of violence against women. Guys, I encourage you to follow and like the page on YouTube and Facebook so you can participate in the rest of the workshops that's happening. You can also contact us and email us at info@artistandartisans.ca. I want to give a little announcement for tomorrow. There's tomorrow's lineup and tomorrow's show. Our keynote speaker is Eddie Jumba, our performing artist, and her name is Paramita Kaur. And our amazing host is Gloria Gift Nankunda. So before I leave you with our last performance, I want to say thank you again for the opportunity for having me MC this first launch. I think it's very close to my heart. It's very important, and I really encourage you guys to send this out and repost it and get the word out so that we can help others. I learned so much during this session, actually, just hearing from our keynote speaker, and I hope that you did too. So again, my name is Rachel Cruz. I'm your MC for today. You can reach out to me at Facebook or on IG, Instagram at rachelcruz.co. So with that, I leave you with Rachel Stryker's last performance. Again, if you caught her earlier, she's this 12-year-old singer-songwriter. She's quite amazing. And join us again tomorrow, 2 p.m., same time, with a full new lineup, a new show, and you're going to be learning so much more. Thank you once again.
This next song and last song is about embracing your flaws, and it's called This Is Me. I hope you enjoy.
I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Ran away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown him out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun. Yeah, that's who we become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for you're glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown him out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. And I know that I deserve your love. There's nothing I'm not worthy of. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown him out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I go.